This is Nightly News co-advisor Paul Miller with the Spring 2023 episode of the Nightly News Brief. Today, we will also be joined by Nightly News President Abbee Breski. This news podcast features audio versions of stories from our student reporters. Articles by Abbee Breski, Andrew Hunter, Nick Hogan, Dalton Kohler, and Professors Paul Miller and Michael Lear-Limpy are featured in today's episode.
Recent Central Penn Corporate Communications alum Dylan Bowman received his first place plaque on April 26th for Best Sports Photo in the 2023 Pennsylvania News Media Association's Keystone Media Students Awards at the WITF Public Media Center. Bowman, who finished his Central Penn program in December, won for the photo the Knights' welcome home Stephen Armstrong after his mammoth grand slam in Game 1, which appeared in an April 24th, 2022 story in the Nightly News Dreams Do Come True as Knights sweep doubleheader at F&B Field. He won in the contest's Division II for Pennsylvania colleges and universities with fewer than 10,000 students. About 100 people, student award winners, high school and college faculty, publication advisors, friends, and family from across the state attended the presentation. Some students and publication advisors who couldn't make it to the ceremony provided short video greetings and thanks. WITF personnel gave tours of the public media outlets, facilities, and had journalists on hand for students to ask questions about the field. A light lunch was served before the awards ceremony. Bowman is an independent videographer and photographer. He owns and operates the production company Fellowship Studios in Halifax. He will present his movie Vintage on campus at part of the CPC film series on July 28th. Bowman remains active with Central Penn Media as the Nightly News and Sports Programs photographer. Last year, 3 Nightly News entries in the PNA contest, a series on diversity among Central Penn employees, a business story, and a podcast series won an honorable mention distinction. The Nightly News Media Club represented Central Penn College at the final Philadelphia Phillies College Series event of the season on April 25th. According to the Phillies website, the event, entitled The Business of Sports Media, Marketing and Partnerships Night, allowed students, quote, to go behind the scenes in the business of baseball with Phillies sports media, communications and marketing executives, and special guests, as well as receive career advice at this exclusive College Series pregame event at Citizens Bank Park, end quote. As the event began, students networked with members of the Phillies front office and spoke with them about a variety of topics, including how to get a job in sports, what students could do during college to build their resume, and what opportunities they should consider at their colleges. In addition to networking with front office members, students had the chance to meet with 2 Phillies all-time greats, Milt Thompson and Mickey Morandini. Thompson and Morandini were members of the 1993 National League champion Philadelphia team, while Thompson was also a coach on the legendary 2008 Phillies World Champion team. As a part of this meeting, students were able to get photos taken with the 2022 National League champion trophy and 1980 and 2008 World Series trophies. Students also got to take part in a panel that included former Phillies general manager Ruben Amaro Jr. The focus of this event was interplay between the team and the communication team for the organization. When discussing this interaction, Amaro said, quote, "Our communication team are our eyes and ears in the community. The PR department is crucial to the success of our team and the relationship we have with our fans," end quote. After the panel session, which lasted about an hour, Nightly News members took in the game where the Phillies played the Seattle Mariners, with the Mariners winning 5-3.
The Nightly News Media Club received the coveted Club of the Year honors at the recent Activities and Athletics Banquet, a program designed to recognize the top clubs and athletes during the last school year. During a recent club meeting, the Nightly News Media Club members expressed how they felt about winning the award. Abbee Breski, president of the Nightly News, said, quote, "Winning the Club of the Year award was a great moment for the Nightly News Media Club. And the best part is that most of what the club does involves other groups, clubs, and athletics as well. It was a great moment for each member to be recognized for their hard work throughout the year," end quote. Andrew Hunter, vice president and Nightly News sports reporter, said, quote, "This award represented all of our hard work throughout the terms this year. As students who are juggling a number of things, to know that we are highly regarded as our college's news organization makes all of our efforts worth it in the end," end quote. Dalton Kohler, secretary of the Nightly News, said, quote, "It was definitely a surprise because there are many amazing clubs on campus that could have also won this award. But for us to not only be commended but praised was certainly a high point during my time with the Nightly News." End quote. Nick Hogan, CPC Film Series correspondent, said, quote, "This award provides us with the motivation we need to keep going and keep spreading the news. We provide the opportunities for students to learn more about the college that they have chosen to attend, and our coverage provides a voice to many aspects of campus that may not otherwise be reported on. This award provides validation to all of our hard work this year, while also motivating us to continue these efforts in the future." End quote. Kevon Davis, Nightly News reporter and basketball producer, said, quote, "The way the Nightly News has continued to expand sports broadcasts at the college puts us in an important place, mainly because no other school in the USCAA conference provides streams and commentary to the level that we do. It is not easy, but our team works well together and puts out a consistent product that our school and its athletes can be proud of." End quote. Blake Myers, Nightly News basketball reporter, said, quote, "It really means everything. From our club leaders to every one of our members, all of the hard work is being recognized. And while we constantly continue to strive to improve our efforts, to know that our campus community sees the value in the work that we do is extremely fulfilling." End quote. Addie Makanovich, Nightly News reporter, said, quote, "I think it is fantastic that we won this award. Everything that we have done for different types of organizations, including Knights Athletics and the West Shore Connect program, speaks to why we were nominated and ultimately won the award." End quote. Former Nightly News president Brian Christiana presented the 2006 film V for Vendetta on May 19th as part of the quarterly CPC film series in the Capitol Blue Cross Theater to a crowd of about 35 people. Christiana, a 2021 inductee to the Nightly News Hall of Fame, graduated from Central Penn College in 2020, but has continued contributing to the college in its special events. He noted in an interview that his motivation for his continued involvement with Central Penn was to keep giving back so future alums find a promising career that fits them. Christiana works as an on-field entertainer for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders and the Lancaster Barnstormers. He is also employed part-time with iHeartRadio and works in asset protection with Wise Markets. To say he is busy with work is an understatement, making his consistent contributions to Central Penn all the more impressive. He also worked for Central Penn for about a year after graduation and is a member of the college's Alumni Council. During its presentation, Christiana remarked how the film was very different when it was released, being a DC Comics adaptation featuring an anti-hero character as the protagonist. This reflected a trend of characters like Deadpool and Christopher Nolan's Batman that exhibit anti-hero characteristics, which was a bold step in the comic book film catalog of the mid-2000s. With elements of neo-noir genre conventions, including the dark tone, anti-hero protagonists, and the film taking place in an urban setting, V for Vendetta may partially be responsible for the evolution of the superhero subgenre that dominates the box office right now. Christiana was quick to note that Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is often credited as a turning point in superhero films, but pointed out that Vendetta also had an important role in this shift. From the start of the film to its finish, the audience was fascinated with where the movie was going with its story, which was filled with twists that no one, who hadn't watched it previously, would have seen coming. Regardless of what people took away from the movie, it clearly left an impression on everyone who attended. At the end of his presentation, Christiana commented on why he returned to campus to be a part of the CPC film series and offered future graduates some advice. Christiana said, quote, "You always have to say yes. Whether it's opportunities or chances, you have to get out there and don't be afraid to try new things because that opportunity may never come up again." End quote. The CPC film series is set to return in the summer term with former Nightly News president Dylan Bowman presenting his original film from his Fellowship Studios Vintage. The date for that showing is set for July 28th.
Nate Jean-Philippe was honored with the Nightly News Athlete of the Year Award at the Activities and Athletics Banquet, which took place on May 31st in the Conference Center at Central Penn College. He's the fourth student athlete and the first Knights men's basketball player to take home the honor. To be named Nightly News Athlete of the Year, one must excel in 3 categories: athletic achievements and performance, classroom excellence and consistency, and the ability to provide access or assistance to student and faculty reporters. The award, developed in 2019 as a way to recognize an outstanding athlete annually, stems from the continued partnership between Central Penn Athletics and the Nightly News. The club broadcasted all 27 baseball and men's and women's basketball games in this past athletics season. On the court, Jean-Philippe was named a USCAA All-American Honorable Mention in 2023, playing in all 25 contests throughout the season. He led the team in multiple categories, including points per game, minutes per game, and free throw percentage. He also finished the season with an incredible 48.3 three-point percentage. In addition, Jean-Philippe was a positive role model in the classroom, often providing academic assistance to his teammates outside class. He was also a student worker with the Central Penn College Athletic Department, playing a key role in the success of the 2023 home baseball season and the intramural program at the college. In speaking with Philippe about receiving this award, he said, quote, "It feels really good. I'm very thankful and have a lot of gratitude, especially coming to Central Penn College my first couple of years and not playing much. And getting that award, I'm very thankful. Through the grace of God, I'm very grateful." End quote.
This has been Nightly News co-advisor Paul Miller, alongside special guest Nightly News President Abbee Breski, with the spring 2023 episode of the Nightly News Brief. We'll see you again next term. The following podcast you're about to hear was recorded in May with the West Shore Connect program here on the campus of Central Penn College. The Nightly News Media Club was part of one of their monthly events, Connection Tuesday, in which we had several of the West Shore Connect students come into the podcast studio and record some of their reflection from their first full year here on campus. All right, welcome everybody to the Nightly News Podcast on a special edition here. Today we are here with the fine people from the West Shore Connect program. We're also being joined by Nightly News reporter Kevon Davis. First of all, Kevon, I want to tell you thank you so much. Fresh off of the ESAC championship victory, what does it mean to you? I know we're going to have you on later in the term, but what does it mean to you to have won this championship in your second season with the team?
It means a lot. Back in the early stage of the podcast, we talked about winning a championship and beating Bucks County, and that was our main goal. And getting that completed and just celebrating with the team and winning our first conference championship in school history for baseball is just unreal feeling. And the fact that we get to be a part of that forever is just something I'll hold forever.
Well, I just want you to know, of course, like I said, we'll have you and Dalton and Coach Stern on later in the term. But gosh, it's unbelievable. When I found out that you guys won, it was just, I feel like I'm an honorary member of the team. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not actually out on the field with you guys, but like I am there with you. I know so many of you personally, whether you're in the program or one of my advisees or just around campus, and I got to tell you, nothing but congratulations. So
thank you.
Well, let's move to what we're here to do, and that is to chat with our friends from West Shore Connect. So first of all, introduce yourselves to our listeners.
My name is Wyatt, rep local.
Nice to meet you, sir. And what is your name, sir?
Clifton
Okay, Clifton. What's your last name?
Brubaker.
Okay. It's such a pleasure to meet both of you. So what we want to do is just kind of talk to you a little bit about your experiences with the West Shore Connect program. This is both of your first year on the Central Penn campus. So tell us what was the most exciting thing that you remember from this year?
I learned that it's a very important place to go for 3 years. 18 to 20-year-old kids can go to this program and take classes and get new experiences and get a degree.
And what was your favorite experience from this year that you can remember? Because this is your third term, right? You started in the fall, winter, and spring, so you've been here for 2.5 terms to this point. Tell us a little bit, like, what was one of your most fond memories?
Well, my first memory was doing new things on campus, doing like new jobs.
What are some of your jobs?
Well, first I had to clean the underground, then I did trash, and now I'm doing bathroom papers.
And bathroom papers, for those of you who don't know what that means, is in our bathrooms we have like little places to put advertisements. So one of the really important jobs is to go around to each of them and sort of rotate those advertisements. A very important job, by the way.
It is.
Tell me a little bit more about your experience here. So tell me about something that was so memorable to you that you're going to look back on this year and remember forever.
Having class with Mrs. Lentz.
Okay, with Dr. Taylor Lentz. What class are you in with her?
I was in her class for human development.
Okay, and tell me something you learned in that class.
Vaping is very bad.
Well, yeah. I certainly a good PSA for anybody out there. So tell me a little bit. So I know that you guys, you still have some time here in the spring, but you'll be taking the summer off and then you'll come back in the fall. What are some things that after your first year you're going to be able to maybe... So let me kind of rephrase this. So Addie had been here for a year before all of you came and joined him this year. In the way that Addie was a mentor to you and kind of letting you know how things went around here, how are you going to be able to do that to any new students who come?
Well, I can give them a virtual tour around the campus and see what kind of stuff we do here, and where everything is located at around here, because it's a new place for them and they've never been here before.
But also, I mean, what about just teaching them how to be a college student? Maybe giving them some tips about classwork and how you stayed on top of your classes and things like that?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you might be able to do for some of the new students who come in next year.
I would probably advise them to be on their best behavior because you are supporting West Shore.
So you're not just necessarily even representing yourself, but you're representing the entire West Shore School District and the West Shore Connect program, right?
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
What's one of the things that you guys really noticed about yourself that's changed over the years of being here?
Well, I was laughing a lot because I'm a happy person.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But now since I'm a college student, I had to act like a college student, act like an adult, and not do any funny business.
And what do you mean by that?
Not laughing about random things that are not funny or not true.
How about you?
Not telling rumors or lies.
That's definitely we usually want to try to avoid being involved in rumors because a lot of times we don't really know if they're true, and if they're not true and you say them about someone, it can really affect them, especially in a relatively small campus here that we have. Have you gotten... I know that as some of the Connection Tuesday events, you got to go out to see some of the sporting events, right? You got to go out to a baseball game earlier this year. Tell us what that was like.
Well, I was very surprised that our team won.
So you were surprised they won?
Because they did not win the soccer game back in October of last year.
Well, you can't win them all.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Although I will say, gosh, I think you guys only lost, one home game this year? Maybe two?
One game against College of Southern Maryland.
Yeah, and I mean, so you were just destroying it at FMB, and that's why it was almost sort of unfortunate that last game got canceled. But again, you made up for it in the ESAC championship. So tell us a bit more about that experience when you went to the game.
I've been hearing everybody cheering on and saying, "Come on, you got this."
And so did you join in and cheer with them?
I did.
That's fantastic. What was one of the most memorable experiences you had on these Connection Tuesday events? I know that you went to... Tell me, what were some of the other events that you did? I know you went to the baseball game. What were some of the other things you did?
We did an Easter egg hunt with the Colleges Against Cancer. And...
Didn't you make Valentine's too?
Yeah, with Adrian.
And I know one of the other baseball players, Anderson, was there helping you as well because he did that for one of his class projects.
Yes, he did.
Which was really cool. So what were some of the other memorable experiences that you had, maybe even outside of the classroom? When you think back to this year, what are some things that you're going to remember over the summertime or even into next year?
Well, I can remember one time we did something with Adrian in the Bollinger, did like a National Pie Day thing for Connection Tuesday. We ate pie. We made one.
Wait, you made pie?
Yes, we did.
What kind of pie did you make?
Boy, I can't remember.
You can't remember?
It was way back in March.
I certainly understand that. So if you had to give in one sentence advice for a new West Shore Connect student, because part of the thing I'm going to do with this podcast is I'm going to share this with Miss Beat, and then she's going to be able to share that with some of the new students who are coming in, just so they have a sense of what it's like. In one sentence, tell me what advice that you would give a new student.
Well, I would say act like a college student and do your best and have fun.
Have fun. I love it. In one sentence, tell us some advice that you give to a new student.
Always turn in your work early.
That's good advice for anyone, right?
Yeah.
But I love that. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Nightly News Podcast. It's such a pleasure to not only get to see all of you around campus, but it's just such a pleasure to get to know all of you and see the joy that you have in being a part of this program. So thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing. We're going to miss you over the summer, but you're going to come back in the fall?
Yes, I am.
You're both back in the fall? Well, then we'll look forward to seeing you in the fall, and maybe in the future we'll have another Connection Tuesday event with you and have you back on the podcast.
Sounds like a good plan to me, Professor Miller. I'm on it.
You got it. All right. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with a couple more members of the West Shore Connect program right after this. Welcome back to the Nightly News Podcast. We are so happy to be joined here by our friends from the West Shore Connect program as part of our Connection Tuesday. So one of the things we did today is we have like little stations, right? We have some of you coming up to the podcast studio and recording this episode. We have some of you down in the theater doing some karaoke, and we have some improv games going on in the lounge. So it's we're kind of all over the place today, but of course we got you some food. But we're being joined here by two of our friends, one of a veteran of the podcast. So let's start with some introductions.
I'm Adam McConovich, and I've been with the Nightly News for 2 terms.
Yeah, and we're really looking forward to. So you are one of the people that's working with the fundraising committee. So we're looking forward to hearing what you're coming up with, so we can do a fundraiser before the end of the term. So hopefully you're working on that with some of the other folks in the program.
Like I said before, I'm thinking about giving back to the community and trying to help by raising up enough money to give it to them.
Well, that's really a good idea. We haven't done anything quite like that, so that's really cool. So we can talk more about that then.
Or give them like some clothing and stuff.
Yeah,
Raise
we
up enough money to
have
give
a
them
lot of
clothing.
we have a lot of opportunities with that. So yeah, definitely something we can chat about. We also have another gentleman here from the West Shore Connect program. What's your name, sir?
It's Kevin Olana.
Nice to meet you, Kevin. So what is your role with West Shore Connect? What are some of the things you like to do?
We like to do Special Olympics.
Oh, okay. Now, my son is also in the Special Olympics. What events do you do?
I do the 100-meter dash, shot put, and the long jump.
So Hunter is my son, and he is in bowling, and he actually finished second in the whole state in Special Olympics for bowling. It was really cool. He bowled like his best 2 days ever on the state or the regionals and the states, and he finished second place by 2 pins.
That's very good.
2 pins away from winning the whole states, so that was pretty cool. I love Special Olympics. He used to do the running as well, but he will run for a little bit and then he'll walk for a little bit. So when you do the dashes like what you're talking about, Kevin, you got to run the whole time, which is something he couldn't quite master. But he really enjoys it. He also does bocce as well. Do you ever get into bocce?
I don't do bocce. My other friends do.
Bocce's fun. I never realized how much fun bocce was, but if you've ever played it, it's really interesting.
Yep, I wish.
Well, hey, there's always a next season. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right, we're also joined here by Nightly News sports reporter Andrew Hunter. Andrew, thank you so much, not only for being a part of the club, but helping out with the West Shore Connection Tuesday today. I wanted to give a shout out to Andrew. Andrew's done some amazing work with us for the Nightly News in terms of doing some baseball coverage, and we still have a couple of stories coming out later this term, not only about, of course, the big championship victory for the Eastern State Athletic Conference, but we're also going to do something about some player awards for the baseball team, which I'm looking forward to getting some input from you on, and maybe we can connect sometime in the near future before that article gets put out. So, Andrew, thank you so much for doing everything.
Yep, my pleasure.
Tell me now, Andrew, before we start talking to the gentleman a bit, tell me a bit more. What was as you look back on this later on down the road, what are some things that you're going to remember from this season from just covering the team?
Just being a part of the team, because I also did the book as well, and then looking back on all the games and the live stats and looking how great most of the games were. It was a good experience.
One of the things I like best about covering these games is the fact that these games will be on YouTube forever. I mean, as long as YouTube's a thing, I'm hoping that these games are going to be there forever. And honestly, what I like to do in sort of the off season, especially if it's been a while since I've done a game, is just go back and watch one of the old games and, kind of critique myself and see how we can always do better. Because one of the big things that I'll always remember about this season is our expansion, going to the 3-camera setup. And, it could have maybe been a little bit better, but, in the end of the day, I think it looked really nice. So, and again, you were such a huge help, not only with covering the stories, but even just some logistics, getting us the lineup cards, things like that. People don't understand how important that part of broadcasting is. So, but that's going to lead me over to my first question, Addie. One of the things for Connection Tuesday that you guys got to do was go out to one of the games. So tell us what that was like to go out and see the Knights play at FNB Field.
It's a good experience. I've never been to a Central Penn game. I've never been to like a college game in my life.
Of any sport? You've never been to a football game or anything like that?
No.
Well, so tell us about what you guys did that day.
We got to go there. We got to cheer on the Central Penn team. We got to have a little fun there too while we're at it.
Well, what were you guys doing to have fun?
While we were up in the stands, right?
You guys started a wave, didn't you?
I don't think we did.
I thought you did.
I don't think we did. I think someone on the other side started the wave.
Okay. Did you participate in the wave?
I don't remember. I don't think we did.
Kevin, did you get to go to the baseball game, the Central Penn game?
We've been to the baseball game, and we didn't win any games. It was a good game to see the Knights playing.
I mean, to me, what's really cool, and maybe for you too as well, is what's really interesting is some of these people, right? Like you guys know Kevon, Dalton, you get to see Andrew there, you know him from just being around on campus, being in classes with them. What is that like to see your friends be out on the baseball field and competing like that, Addie?
It's exciting because I've never gotten to see these guys play on the field before. And I'm glad I got to experience that. And these guys are my buddies right here. I appreciate them.
And I think it's so cool, Addie, that you look up to these guys, and even though you're not on the team, you can be such a big supporter, which is equally as important, right? If you don't feel that you've got people behind you, it can make things a little bit tougher to play. But when the guys get to have 600 people at one of their games, I mean, it's got to be just such a great feeling. So, Kevin, what did you think about being in the stands that day? Like, what is something that you remember?
I remember when all the players are playing against their opponents, even since the opponents beat us fair and square.
Did you get to catch any foul balls, or did any foul balls come back up toward you?
No.
Oh, well, that's good. But I will say, next year, if you guys get to come out, if you catch a foul ball, you get a free hot dog at the concession stand. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, listen, we're gonna switch over a little bit to just the West Shore Connect program. I mean, Addie, we talked about you just in the last segment. I'd asked the folks who were up here what role you played in their transition here. So, as the sort of the senior member of the West Shore Connect program, what did it mean for all of these folks to come in and sort of look up to you, and how did you handle that?
At first, it was kind of tough. I mean, it's a good experience. I mean, and then until this term, there's been a lot of drama, and I know I've been part of it.
Oh, so you're stirring the pot a little bit.
I mean, I'm not trying to. I mean, it's just tough because I've been with these guys for a long, long time.
Well, and that's what's interesting, too. And honestly, I've talked to Kevon about this before as well, because now he's coming back this year for a second year, and he's got there's a lot of new rookies. So it's very, very similar, you and Kevon, to what you guys are going through, because, first year you come in, you're kind of looking up to the people who have been there and are a little older than you. Well, now year 2 comes around, some of those people are gone. Now people look up to you to make sure to help them through some tough times. So can you give me an example of a time that maybe you helped one of your fellow students in a rough situation, that because you had a little bit more experience that you were able to help them out?
Some of them have a hard time with work and stuff and trying to figure out some of the questions. So that's why I'm always there to help out with that and try to figure out what's going on with that.
so you were actually able to help them with some of their academic struggles.
Yes.
What about just integrating into life here on Central Penn's campus?
I mean, I just tell them to have confidence. You'll get there someday.
You would be very surprised how important even something like that means to them. Kevin, now, Addie, you've obviously gotten to work with Addie for a little while. Can you remember a time that he helped you through maybe a problem you were having?
Well, he did help me a little at class. He taught me everything I missed.
So if you missed something, you could go to Addie and he could give you some help.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what friends should do for one another. I mean, listen, you're going to miss a class here and there, just whether you're sick or whether you have a doctor's appointment or dentist appointment or something. Having that person that you can reach out to give you some assistance if you miss a class, that's super important.
Is there any other sports you would like to attend?
I mean, what are all the sports are here?
We have soccer, we have basketball, baseball. We're getting softball next year, track and field.
Volleyball as well?
I like to try to attend a basketball game.
Now, a lot of the basketball games are in the evening, though. But I will say, Andrew's on the soccer team, right?
Are you really?
Yep, I'm the keeper.
That's cool.
And Andrew was an academic All-American last year, too.
Nice.
So I understand that you guys got to go to a soccer game last year. Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about that experience. Was that your first soccer game?
That was my very first soccer game, actually.
Tell us about it.
It was fun. I mean, I got to yell at the top of my lungs and stuff. I used to be on the football team. I used that kind of voice.
I remember you telling me about that. So you love
Yeah.
sports and you love just being a fan and going out there and being out there and supporting a team.
Yeah,
So tell me, are you going to try to get out to a soccer game this season?
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, because I know sometimes the soccer games are in the afternoons when you guys are able to go, but I think that's so cool, and I love hearing stories about you guys getting out to some of these games. So, fantastic. Kevin, did you get to go to the soccer game this year?
Yes, I did.
And what did you think about, had you ever been to a soccer game before?
I haven't been to a soccer game, my first one.
And you got to see Andrew in goal? Did you guys,
No.
do you remember, did you win that game, Andrew?
No, it was 2-1.
One of the few games that unfortunately you guys were not victorious. But so Andrew, tell us a little bit more about this. I mean, I know that you're sort of in the off season, but tell us a little bit more about the team this year and what you're expecting.
We're expecting a lot of new recruits, which is very, very promising for our future. And I plan on winning the ESAC just like the baseball team. If anything's short, it's going to be a disappointment towards me.
I know, but it's tough. I hope that you're taking something else out of it in case that doesn't happen. Of course, we're going to be rooting for you all the way, but I certainly hope that it does. Well, Addie, I'm going to end each podcast here, and Kevin as well. I wanted you to just give a message to the new folks coming in next year. If you had to put into just one sentence a piece of advice for a new West Shore Connect student, their first day on campus coming up this fall, what would it be?
Just have confidence. Know you'll make it through. Class might be hard, but you'll get through it. That's all I have to say about that.
Hey, that'll work. Kevin, if you had to give advice to a new student next year, what would it be?
I say all new students are coming in Central Penn. Be confident. You can do it. We believe you. Good luck.
I love it. Wonderful. Thank you so much
yeah.
for your input.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
And just be yourself. Doesn't matter how someone views you, just be yourself, really.
And that's what's interesting about college too, Addie. Like, I think when people are in high school, they feel like they have to be something to fit in. And I think in college, you have that opportunity to just let loose and just be yourself. And then people will respect you for being yourself and not being a fake person and being real,
Yeah. I mean, that's how I am. I'm always real.
There's no question about that, Addie. Kevin, did you have any final thoughts?
All new students in Japan, don't give up. If you have new professors or teachers, make sure you pay attention to him and don't get into trouble. Just stay away from all the drama. And I know you can do it.
Good advice for everyone to live by, Kevin.
Good job, buddy.
All right, well, Kevin, Addie, thank you guys so much for being here, and it's always my pleasure to get to work with you guys, and it's such a great day today to get to work with the West Shore Connect crew, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Well,
Thanks.
you're very welcome. We'll see you again next time.
See you.
Welcome back to our final segment of the Nightly News Podcast. We're here with a few more of our friends from the West Shore Connect program. I'm just going to go around and have everyone introduce themselves.
My name is Michael.
Michael Monosmith. How about for you?
Marissa.
Michael Marissa.
Good evening. My name is Chloe Kim.
Chloe, and you've got a perfect radio voice, by the way, Chloe. We'll have to get you back on one of the podcasts. So what we've been doing with everybody today is just talking a little bit more about your experience this year with the West Shore Connect program. What are some of the things that you enjoyed? Maybe some advice for some new people. So let's just start there. I'll start with Chloe. Chloe, this is your first year with the program, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about when you first started and when you first came on campus. What were some of the? Were you nervous? What were some of the things that you were maybe nervous about, or did you seem to jump right in?
Actually, to be honest, I was quite confident when I came into Central Penn, but after a little bit, some time, I used to get to use stuff. Central Penn a lot. I think it's really quite all right with me. I kind of like it.
That's great. What's your favorite thing about being here, like on a day-to-day basis? Is it going to class or getting to know your friends, or like what is the thing that you really enjoy coming most to Central Penn?
I think I like coming into class a lot, learning a lot of new things this much. It's kind of like very logical for me to understand all of my college stuff. I mean, all this college life. I think it's really, really useful to me.
So what is your favorite class that you've had so far?
It's got to be English 101. It's really easy to help me get better when I want to be a writer.
And so who was your professor for that class?
Oh, that's easy. It's Miss Amanda Stuckley.
Okay, Professor Stuckey, yeah, she is wonderful. She is one of my colleagues, so I get to work with her quite a bit. Trust me, she loves having all of you in class. She talks about it all the time. So, all right, I want to hear from Marissa. Marissa, tell me a bit more about your experience with West Shore Connect and maybe some of the impressions that you have for this year so far.
Meeting new mentors.
So tell us about some of your mentors. That's an excellent thing. Amanda, and is Abbee one of your mentors?
Yes.
Abbee is our Nightly News president.
And Heather is one of our mentors.
And what is so special about getting to work with those three?
Abbee takes us to the underground.
And what do you do down in the underground?
Play Uno.
Uno. Have you ever played Uno Attack?
No.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's a little bit different than Uno, but it's still the same type of rules.
Today we went to the underground with Abbee.
Oh, yeah? And what'd you do?
Michael gave Kevin all draw twos because Kevin gave Abbee all draw twos.
Oh, so Michael's a little vindictive when it comes to playing Uno. He likes to get revenge.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the events you did with Connection Tuesday, because that's why we're here today. This is all part of our Connection Tuesday interaction with West Shore Connect. So tell me one that you remember really well and that one that you'll never forget. I remember two of them. One of them was when you went out to the
Easter egg hunt.
Yes, that was going to say that. So you have the Easter egg hunt with the Colleges Against Cancer. You'd made Valentine's with Adrian and one of the baseball players. And you got to go out to one of the baseball games.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that experience. Was that the first time you'd ever been over to City Island before?
Yes.
And what did you think about going to that game?
It was fun.
Yeah, did you catch a foul ball?
No.
Oh, well, next time if you do, you get a free item at the concession stand. All right.
But Abbee did.
Abbee caught a foul ball. It didn't hit her, did it? You know, I got hit by a ball over at the game one time.
You did?
I was carrying, I went and got a sandwich and a soda, and I was walking up to my seat, and that was the one time that I took my eye off the ball.
Oh, my God.
Hit me right in the back.
Oh, my God.
Now, fortunately, it wasn't hit really hard. It was like a lot of spin, so it kind of just like ricocheted off of me.
Oh, my God.
That can be really dangerous if you're not paying attention. You got to be paying attention out at the baseball field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could really, really hurt. You just got to keep it eye on the ball. That case, it won't hurt you at all. Just keep your eye on the ball. And if you see it, just try to catch it.
Trying to catch it's okay, but when it's major league hitters out there, you should probably be really careful and just take cover and not try to injure yourself.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you enjoy most about Central Penn?
I see Addie.
So your friends, you have a lot of friends?
Oh yeah.
Addie's a good guy. He was just in here, and you know what he said? You know what he said one of his favorite things was? Getting to see all of you guys every single day. So why is Addie such a good friend to you? What does he do?
He's funny.
Is he helpful to you, like with your classwork?
Yes.
And that was another thing that he said that he really likes is to get to work with all of you if you ever need help. It's almost like Addie's your big brother, right?
What?
Right. Now, Michael, there's a very special thing that I need to ask you about. You are a part of my Challenger baseball team. I work as the commissioner of the senior league for Camp Hill Challenger baseball. I've been a part of it for many years. So I've actually known Michael. Gosh, how long have you been playing Challenger baseball?
A long time.
Yeah, a long time. I think Hunter started when he was like 13, and Hunter's now 23. So I think it's been about 10 years. And you've been playing that whole time, right?
What?
Because I was your coach with the Bobcats, and now I'm your coach with the Orioles. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
I know, it's so crazy. Michael is always has a huge smile on his face, just enjoys life and is such a good baseball player. I can't wait for everybody to see him once he gets to the major leagues one day because he is a treat. So, well, we still have a little bit of time left. So what I want to do is I want to go around just to ask everybody what their favorite thing about being at Central Penn is. Chloe?
Okay, so my favorite thing about Central Penn here, I like about the classes and trying the new things I never tried before and learning about job interviews. It's very, very logical for me, and it really helps me to become a better adult if I wanted to get a job someday.
Now, Chloe, will you be back next year for the West Shore Connect program?
Sure, I think I would be.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear it because it was what I thought was really interesting is last year there was 3, and this year there's 11 of you, something like that.
Yeah.
And so what I'm seeing is the program keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you have to make sure that you are welcoming to the new people because remember you were all new people once before too.
Got it.
Marissa, tell me what your favorite thing about Central Penn College is.
Meeting new teachers.
Oh, yeah? And who's your favorite teacher? So we had one vote for Professor Stuckey.
Professor Black.
Professor Black. Professor Black is also one of my favorite professors. She is actually... You want to hear a funny story about Professor Black?
Sure.
Do you know how I got to know her?
No.
She was one of my students.
What?
Yes. She got her bachelor's degree from Central Penn College. She went back to school and got her master's, and then she's joined us because she retired from her full-time job, and she wanted to stay involved with education, and we brought her on board, and she is just wonderful. But yeah, you'll have to ask her next time you see Professor Black, you'll have to say, "Is it true that Professor Miller was your teacher?" And then she'll tell you all about it. You can make sure that I'm not
okay.
lying. All right. Michael, tell me your favorite thing about Central Penn College.
Playing. Oh, no.
Oh, you're playing Uno.
Yeah.
What about getting to go to lunch with your friends? I mean, what about the cafeteria? I know you like to eat.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers? Well, guess what? At the picnic for the Challenger this year, I'm going to make you the best hamburger you've ever had in your life. How about that?
Michael also usually get the hot wings.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know you liked hot wings.
Yes, he gets them often.
How hot are they? Are they really hot?
We hard,
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm not a super hot wing person. I do like hot food, but I don't like hot sauce. It's just not for me. I can't do the really hot.
Every day Michael gets the special.
Well, so, you know what? Variety is the spice of life, as they say. Listen, we have just a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
I just want you to answer one more question for me.
Okay.
You're going to have some new folks here next year. If you had to give them, based on your experience, one piece of advice, what would it be? I'll start with Chloe.
If I give them one piece of advice, then it's this. Whenever things have gotten so hard and life is really hard to handle at Central Penn, just go on and keep going and never give up. And if whenever it's really hard, you should really get a minute to talk to your teacher, and then you'll feel very, very confident to keep going again. Soon, you'll get better at it. I just know it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That was just wonderful advice. Everybody has difficult times, and sometimes the only thing you can do is just keep going. But I do appreciate your advice about talking to your professors. As a professor, one of the things that I run into is unfortunately sometimes when people have questions, they don't ask them, and they just kind of go out on their own. I'm always happy to answer questions and work with students. So that's wonderful advice, Chloe.
Thank you.
Marissa, tell me one piece of advice for the new West Shore Connect students that are coming in the fall. One piece of advice for them to be successful.
They can make new friends.
And so how would you suggest they go about doing that? Like, what are some ways? Because if they come here, Marissa, they're going to be really nervous, maybe a little shy.
They also can hang out with mentors.
So they're going to get to know friends in the West Shore program, and they're going to get to hang out with their mentors. Fantastic.
And a lot of jobs they have to do.
So, yeah.
Different jobs on campus.
Awesome. So take advantage of the opportunities to meet
and
new people.
I'll also sell them Connect Tuesday, too.
So if let me recap here. You want to make sure that they make new friends, they get to work with their mentors, and they enjoy the Connection Tuesday experiences. I love it. Michael, tell me one piece of advice for the new students in West Shore Connect next year. What is one thing they can do to have a good time?
New teachers.
So work with your teachers. Have a good relationship with your teachers, because your teachers can really help you. Was that what you're thinking?
Yes.
All right. Well, all of you, it was so nice to get to not only get to meet you. I mean, I've known a couple of you for a little while. It was, Chloe, a pleasure to meet you. It was such a nice opportunity to have you here today. I hope this was fun for you, and I'll send this out to you whenever it's done. I think you all enjoy the podcast, and you'll get to remember this experience forever.
I'd be delighted to.
Cool. Excellent.
Me too.
Well, Chloe, thank you so much. And again, you have a radio voice. We need to get you to come down to the podcast a little bit more often. We'll have to have Addie bring you down sometime.
All right. That'll be great. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Marissa, of course, it's always such a pleasure to get to know you. I had you in class last term. I miss your smiling face every day. So thank you for coming down.
You're welcome.
And Michael, are you going to hit a home run this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
He hit one last weekend. It's still flying.
Where is it at?
We play over in Camp Hill on Sunday afternoons. So it's open to the public. Anybody's welcome to come out anytime. We start at 1 o'clock. So, well, listen, thank you all so much for joining us. This is going to do it for this episode of the podcast. I want to thank all of the West Shore Connect folks. I also want to thank Kevon Davis and Andrew Hunter, who joined us here today. But again, thank you so much. That's going to do it for this episode of the Nightly News Podcast. We'll see you again next time.